Hello, everybody, and we are live. My name's Anthony Pepper. George Duncan is here. Frank Griffith is here. Daryl Sherman is here, and we'll be back after we've heard Swing Time in Honolulu.
And poi, where moonlight nights are the real McCoy. It's a land of paradise for a girl and boy. Now you'll soon see why the palm trees shake when they start that rhythm quake, when they greet you with aloha pei oi. It's always swing time in Honolulu. In Honolulu, it's always swing time. Natives are humming, guitars are strumming. It's always swing time in Honolulu. Oh, island that sings through the day. Oh, island where all lovers play. Oh, island that swings with a sway, with a wicky wacky woo in aloha ikapua. Those beaches with sand snowy white. Those natives that love living right. Those babies that love loving right. Neath the yellow moon that's mellow like a cello. Swing time. Natives are humming, guitars are strumming. It's always swing time in Honolulu. It's always swing time in Honolulu. In Honolulu.
With a wicky wacky woo and aloha ikapua.
Frank.
Hello. Welcome to the almost 14 months worth of, 13 months worth of Uptown lockdown. And tonight is no exception. We're going to have a great friend of mine from New York, Daryl Sherman. Daryl is a pianist and vocalist, and many of you who have appreciated live jazz in the UK will have either heard or seen Daryl perform or be aware that she has for many, many years been on a pretty much annual residence touring around the whole of the UK. And some of the venues she's played at include the Pizza Express in London, what was the Pizza on the Park in London, also known as Pizza in the Dark, because it was quite an unlit venue. And I just feel lucky to get to spend time with a friend of mine from New York. We met in the 1980s. And I believe our last gig together, Daryl, was in about 5 years ago at this place called the Boysdale. Do you remember that? And so I'm just going to let Daryl take it from here. She's brought some great tracks. And as you can see, she's got a piano and a voice and even some music. Wow. Well done, you. We're going to talk and have a good old chat, aren't we? Daryl Sherman, thank you very much.
Well, I'll start with a wiki wacky wua and aloha ikapua, which any proper Hawaiian native resident would say is not anything remotely Hawaiian.
Okay, well,
But that was a lyric written by Henry Nemo, who also wrote, I let a song go out of my heart.
One of our favorites.
Other standards, but staying with Duke Ellington. And as you well know, when Duke Ellington got to New York, he was putting this band together, and one of the best ways to start off was at the Cotton Club, and it was actually songwriter Jimmy McHugh. I can't give you anything but love, exactly like you, Sunny Side of the Street, Jimmy McHugh, who recommended Duke Ellington for the gig to work as the house band. And one of the reasons, as he said he said, and that band can read. And that, for songwriter, that was pretty good. And so they played all of those early songs by Jimmy McHugh and Dorothy Fields and Harold Arlen, and some of Duke Ellington's own songs. And those reviews were lavish shows. They were for dancing, and they were stage shows with gorgeous dance costumes and pretty lavish. And the song, I Let a Song Go Out of My Heart, was taken out of the review.
Right.
Swing Time in Honolulu was substituted. And it is my least requested song.
Well, the fact that you do it.
I took a shine to it. I didn't even know about it until in New York, the wonderful Dick Hyman, great pianist and arranger and producer, put together a show of Rare Ellington and assigned that song to me. I said, why do you think I should do this song? He said, Daryl, you're the only one who could do something like this. And I said,
carried off, yeah.
I turned it down because I thought it was too silly. He gave me something else that will be long forgotten. He gave that song in that program to Annie Ross. And I regretted it for the rest of my life.
Oh, and Annie's life too.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, I think I met you probably through Lauren Schoenberg, who has also been on this show. Of course, many others that you know and love. Probably met you around 1982 or 3 or early 80s, I would have thought.
That was our best decade, I think.
Oh, that was a great decade. I remember seeing you performing at a joint. It was kind of a nice bar. It was below the Village, like just off of 7th Avenue, and it had a great, lovely grand piano there. And it was in the days when they had a.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't as high as sort of the Village Vanguard. It was well south. It was well south of that, heading towards Soho. Anyway, it was just a venue, and it was near a movie theater, like a what they call an art house, where Lauren and I had gone to see Whiskey Galore, which is this old movie,
Oh my gosh! It
and
could
you
have
were playing there like a few nights a week.
Forum or Cinema Village.
Yeah, it was just lovely. It was just one of those things where you could go hear someone without even trying. There's just so many gigs like that. But did you move to New York in the 70s? Maybe
I did.
From your Rhode Island.
One of the original colonies. But wait a minute. But you are too. Where you're not from England. Where did you grow up?
I'm from a place called Eugene, Oregon. Yeah.
Oh,
long way away. I'm a pal with Rebecca Kilgore, who lives in Portland.
All right.
Who I know you know.
Now, but she she grew up in one of the original colonies. She grew up in the Boston area.
She's
I
not a
was
proper Northwesterner. That's
that's
correct.
right.
I'm a proper Northwest lad. Anyway, so what an introduction, Dick Hyman, who's still with us in Florida, I think.
God, yes.
And how
Yay.
is he still alive? He's one of the most brilliant musicians on the planet, isn't he? He's arranging. He did all those arrangements for Count Basie and all the big bands, and is super, super musician.
I didn't actually see him, but here's a story. Talk about the pandemic. My brother moved down to the Sarasota area where Dick lives.
Yeah.
And they have a jazz festival at that time in a certain same time in March every year, and it happens to be my brother's birthday. So I flew down there and also made sure that I got tickets to hear Dick and Ken Poplawski and all the guys that we love
Oh,
play in that concert. But this was already, not official, but a little dicey time to be
yeah.
doing that. And I got there, I spoke to Dick, I spoke to Houston Person, I spoke to Ken, I spoke to Russell Malone, who had all flown down for this festival. They all got there. And my brother and I and my sister-in-law, we drove to the hall, and I couldn't understand why I didn't see any cars. And that afternoon, the city called the concert up.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony can tell you a similar story from
Yes,
Washington, D.C.
what date was that roughly?
It would have been about like around the 10th or 12th or something.
Yeah, that would have been
March.
key time. Yeah.
But I spoke to Dick maybe on his birthday, because his birthday is the first or second week of March. I did speak to him. He sounds great.
Amazing guy. Well, one of our greatest, our national treasures in the UK lived in Sarasota, called Duncan Lamont, He was obviously not from Sarasota, but he did spend many years there with his wife, Bridget. Of course, George knows Duncan, or knew Duncan, I should say.
Yeah. How sad.
We're in touch. I'm in touch with his family through his son, Duncan Jr., quite a bit about what the legacy of Duncan's music and all his great songs.
I got a chance at least just before that, the summer, just before what we were talking about, to get to London. And Duncan had just died, maybe just a few months.
That was 19. I think it was 19 July.
One of the songs we dedicated to him.
And I think you played up in the Northwest as well, where I now reside. There's a couple of venues you play not terribly far from Liverpool and Manchester, isn't there?
And I've never been to Liverpool.
Well, I'll put a change to that. Yeah, I'm booking a couple of venues now in Liverpool.
Which I love.
Who knows? You might even get up to Glasgow, George. Or are you Edinburgh?
Yes,
I've been there.
both.
George, my friend.
George is the jazz expert in north of the borders, mate.
Well, and we certainly will, as soon as possible. We'll have Daryl over.
Because
George,
there's so many great venues up there.
Frank doesn't seem to know about us.
No, I know.
I know everything about all of you.
Underestimate George.
I've got stories of Daryl I can dredge out if necessary. No, I'm just kidding. But
I know. I call it my Nooks and Crannies tours.
Oh, that's cool. Nooks and crannies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of nooks and a few crannies in the Northwest. Let me tell you. So, Anthony, do we have any exciting tracks? I think Daryl kindly emailed us.
We have
some
several
tracks,
exciting tracks, yes.
and I can't wait to hear more personally. Unless before we do, Daryl, if you'd like to tell us what's coming up for you in your performing in the New York City area, or perhaps abroad, outside of New York.
Well, in New York City, thank goodness, what has been an annual event which happens to be outdoors, but it makes it even more convenient.
Better, yeah.
At a park that when I first moved to New York in the 70s, you wouldn't want to go anywhere near.
Yeah.
They fixed it up, and it's called Bryant Park.
Bryant Park. I knew you were going to say that. Library, where the library is,
And this is the curious part. One of the people who is in charge of, they have many events. They'll do movies. They do bocce. They have a merry-go-round. They have Broadway acts on stage, and they bring stuff in. But they decided to do a jazz piano series. And when they first started it, a gentleman named Terry Waldo, who is a ragtime expert, started it, and they dedicated it to the music of Fats Waller and James B. Johnson, which is kind of an unusual thing to do in an open air park. Not to mention that what we have to play on is what I call a PSO, piano shaped object. It looks like a circus piano, and it's adorable. It's lime green and yellow. It looks like a circus piano. And inside, in the guts of the piano, is a Yamaha keyboard.
I knew that was going to happen.
You knew, right?
I'm sorry. There's so many. At least they had a keyboard, but that's not enough.
I have to say,
not enough.
Enormous acreage that it is, that's the only way that you could be heard.
Where is it? Is it the summertime? Is it summertime?
Yeah, it's mostly through. It starts usually in late May and it goes to the end of September. So, and we each get a week, and it's in the afternoon, and I get to play from 12:30 to 2:30, 5 days a week, starting June 28. And the emphasis really has been on jazz piano, and I adhered to that, and it was good for me to force myself, to not sing everything and play.
Yeah.
People who know me would come over and say, please sing, and so I'd start singing. I said, we've come close to me, and I'll sing to you. And luckily, one day, the manager of the park happened to be there.
Yeah.
And the day, the directive was, give that girl a mic. And I'm thing. Isn't that fun?
That's an incredible story. I can't. I mean, I would have thought if people are going to listen, they should be able to hear you sing as well if you want to.
Well, except that it's kind of hard because you're outdoors and it doesn't carry. And I'm not exactly Ethel Merman.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
And last year they did attempt to do it, but they made it. They just did like 2 or 3 days in the week, and they blocked. I was barricaded up on the piano, and so they've got now they've sort of varied the stylistic nuances of the pianist, which is great.
Yeah.
And they can do a Broadway sing along once in a while.
Well,
yeah. For golfers, I got to play for dancers, and I was so thrilled when they chose to doing the new Low Down, which was Bill Bojangle Robinson's song that I actually knew. I'll make them play that crazy thing again. I gotta do that lazy swing again. Doing the new Low Down. I got my feet just misbehaving and that kind of thing.
Lovely.
Lovely. And you get people from all over the place. It's wonderful.
Sorry. It's not great key for me, sweetie.
I recorded that with Ken Popowski, so you were definitely just what it needs.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He's my hero. But do you
I go back to Ellington. I play a lot of Ellington there.
Yeah, well that's required, my dear. That's required. Do you
we have a candidate for mayor who was boasting that he knows how to take the A train uptown, but he got some of the stops wrong, and so they're not voting for him.
That's great.
He knew, and more to the point, I don't think he knew much about Duke Ellington.
Well, these stories we're hearing about, this silliness. We won't even go there. But
it is quite confusing, though. The subway.
I'm listening. Oh, there you are, Anthony. Were you?
And depending
talking to MI5?
And depending on that's right. Yes, I was. Just checking on the status of the foreigners that we have here. Because you can't be too careful, Daryl. Have we lost you?
Almost. And
what I was wondering was where our audience was actually, and whether we were actually on. So I was attempting to elicit that.
Excuse me.
I'm not sure.
I hate to ask,
that.
But are we on? Anthony?
We are. I think we are on, but our audience is quite low, so not many people seem to know that we're on, which is a bit disappointing. Let me just say that.
Well, I did actually let a lot of people know.
If you visit New York and try to find the A train, it can be quite difficult because they move platforms and things. It's not always in the same place. Well,
neither is Netherlands. Never.
So, but are there different versions of the A train? I couldn't get it completely sorted out because there's a fast train and a slow train up, isn't there? So there are. So they do have different stops on them, but I'm not sure if they're all the A train because there is a number of trains. I guess if you live there, you probably get super used to it all.
I know it well, sweetie. I know it.
So anyway, I was listening and really enjoying what I was hearing.
Yeah.
I love it, babes. I love it.
Oh gosh.
What do you got, Anthony? Back to reality now, pal.
Why don't you play Azalea?
Okay.
Yeah. Good.
That's a lovely piece. One of Duke Ellington's pieces from the gardening suite there.
But also because he was inspired by Louis Armstrong's. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do this first thing. He was
do it,
inspired
sweetie.
by Louis Armstrong, and in Louis's own writings about growing up in New Orleans. And Louis recalls an afternoon picnic. It was spring, and azaleas blooming, red, pink, white. They are the sweetest to me. Everywhere you go is flowers. Magnolias come a bit later, after most others are gone. And like a featured actress who's got to have the stage to herself. Azaleas grow up near a cypress swamp. And if the swamp isn't too wet for them, they'll grow all on through it. And there's a lot more to this. And Duke wrote the lyrics and this song based on this very moment.
Wow. What a great title, Azaleas. I mean, that alone is speaking, So, are you going to play the track?
Hear what rhymes with azalea.
That's a good question.
They worked quite hard on the rhymes, or I should say Duke did, because as you mentioned, it's a Duke lyric, isn't it? So
there was a great record label that put out a lot of beautiful music called Mosaic. But that's a far cry from Azalea, but that's as good as I can do.
All right.
Okay, Anthony, do something. Play the track.
Of course, absolutely. Absolute pleasure.
Such a fine spring day down Louisiana way, with fragrance divine, in such magnificent regalia. Oh, so fine, azalea. Oh, what a lovely sight in red and pink and white. Can't help but believe that nothing evil can assail you. So naive, azalea, you at ease in the knees of the moss-covered trees, whose tops meet to make a high ceiling in the church-like pomp of a cypress swamp. I've yet to get that strange feeling. I gotta go back there to find that blossom fair I always dream of. 'Cause with you, who could be a failure? My first love is you. Moss-covered trees, whose tops met to make a high ceiling in the church-like pomp of a cypress swamp. I've yet to get that strange feeling. I've gotta be back there to find that blossom fair I've always dreamed of. For with you, who could be a failure? My first love, azalea. Azalea, my first love, azalea.
Duke Ellington's Azalea.
What a
Played
lovely...
and sung by our very special guest this week, Daryl Sherman.
I gotta go back there and find that blossom fair I've always dreamed of. 'Cause with you, who could be a failure? My first love, nothing can assail ya. What else rhymes? My first love, azalea. Azalea. I love that song.
Yeah, what a lovely song. Gosh.
And John Eric Kelso on trumpet there.
He was on one of my first trips, not my very first one, but second or third, when we went to Scotland, too, he was on those.
Oh, really?
Brian Peerless booked us around.
Oh,
Yeah, the late Brian
dear
Peerless.
Brian, yes.
And I did pizza,
He was so
you know,
important, wasn't he?
Pizza Dean Street. We did Woking.
You did Woking. Oh,
So did we.
oh, bless. Yes, dear old Woking. Of course, we know Woking, don't we, Frank?
We spent every Woking hour there.
Well, that's right. 10 years ago. Yes, that's right.
Nearly.
Well, no, we were organising it.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago.
And then, it takes a year to do these things. And then we had that long conference there in, not too long, but long enough, in Woking in 2012. Yeah.
And one of the venues, Daryl, that we played at was a little bar, I think, or kind of a art center. It was called the Light Box, in Woking, and it was very near to where we were having the conference. And so, of course, we had to go into a rousing chorus of "I'm beginning to see the light box."
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Hey,
Hey, you played that in a good key there. That's a nice key.
isn't that a nice key? I like E flat.
Is your voice like E flat?
Are you too young to have actually seen Duke Ellington's band live?
Yeah, I am. Unfortunately.
I'm not.
Well, he played a lot on the East Coast, didn't he? That's great, though.
But so I want to tell you about that.
Oh, wow.
Please
Yes,
do.
Please do.
I was in my final year, I guess, because he died in 74.
4, yeah.
Might as well, no secrets between us, I guess.
And, yeah.
You kind of disappeared. There you are again.
Gotta plug some.
Okay.
Fine.
And of course, George, you're far too young to have seen Duke in person, aren't you?
Sadly, I mean,
It was.
I'm not very
I was-
young.
I
I'm
was a
80 in
senior.
a month.
I was a senior at the University of Rhode Island, which the campus was about an hour away from Providence, Rhode Island, the capital, and Duke Ellington's orchestra was playing
Wow.
in the major, convention hall arts center there. And we didn't have my roommate and I did not have a car. And this is the first and only time, and thank goodness you could do that in those days. We hitchhiked,
Uh-oh. Yeah.
and a guy picked us up, and we told him that we were going to go hear the Duke Ellington band in Providence, and it was going to be so great. He had never heard of Duke Ellington, excuse me.
Yeah.
But he said, what the heck? And we got there. We managed to get tickets right in front of the saxophone section.
Oh, man.
Very close. How close, Daryl? Close enough to catch the eye of Norris Turney,
Oh, hello.
the alto player. Right? Was he lead alto player then? And oh, sorry. And at the intermission, we were close enough where I could actually walk over to him. Duke went off the stage. And I started talking to him and telling him that, how much I love the music. And he said, I know, I saw you singing along. You must be a singer. Oh, yes. I'm a singer. Well, he said, he looks at me, he said, why don't you meet me after the show
Uh-oh.
to the back of the hall, and I'll introduce you to Duke. We'll see what we can do. I went, oh my God. So we went back to our seats, but then I said to my friend, I said, I gotta call my father. I gotta tell him something. Because, and my father was a musician, mind you. Dad, I gotta tell you, I just saw Duke Ellington's band, and Norris Turney invited me to come back after the show, and I think I might be leaving school. Can you believe this? This is not, it's usually the usual thing, sorry, Dad, see you soon. And all right, then they finish their set, and Duke says to everybody at the end, as he always did, and ladies and gentlemen, we love you madly.
Yeah.
And I get up, I run to the back of the auditorium just in time to see the bus, boom, leave.
Oh. What? What? I want my money back already. How could that happen?
It just left without me. But I had a chance years later to meet Norris Turney.
Oh, yes.
Give him what for about that. Where were you?
Well, I don't see how they had to leave so quickly, But
well, you don't know Providence.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Were you in Woonsocket? Woonsocket,
yes. Yeah.
No, but is that where the university was?
No, the university was in a little town called Kingston, but closer to the ocean area.
Yeah, no, I knew that area. We used to go to do summer stock shows on the beach.
Matunic by the sea.
We used to say Nuke Matunic.
Oh, this is really incredible because
I used to do those every summer.
My second year at URI, which is very close, at the end of the second semester, I think I got a job in a mill, a factory in Socket. Yep. I get a call from Matunic by the sea. Oh, our piano player has left, and can you come and play for us? And
oh, well done.
So I go, and it was a little lounge, and I start playing there, just doing a solo, singing and playing. And they give me it's hard. They hardly paid anything because you have to pay for your meals and everything. But the beach was great.
It's a nice beach, yeah.
And I called my father. I said, "Oh, this is nice, Dad. Come, you have to bring me some more gowns." And in those days, we wore long dresses.
Yeah.
So bring me some more schmatters. And he did. And a closet full of schmatters. And after 2 weeks, they said, "Thank you very much. We enjoyed you, but we don't need you anymore."
Yeah. Yeah.
The piano player.
Man.
All it was that the piano player just wanted a 2-week break.
No wonder you left Rhode Island. You didn't have such great luck there.
Oh.
But I just want to mention to listeners, here's a very beautiful album and CD and picture. If you can see that.
Oh, yay. Yes.
Could you tell us about this CD? Because unfortunately, I've got about 3 of your CDs, and this is the only one I could find. But one of which, well, tell us about this one first, please.
All I can say is, my hair's still curly. And I had a photographer who enhanced the hair even better. But yeah,
lovely picture.
No, it was good timing and bad timing. I had been working for many years at the Waldorf Astoria, playing a Steinway that was in Cole Porter's suite until he died. Well, actually, it stayed there for a while. And this was done actually after I was officially working there. So I kind of had in fact, the inspiration for it came from being down in New Orleans almost every August for quite some time for the annual Satchmo Summer Fest.
Cool. Well, that's what it talks about here, because
Right.
we have Mississippi Belle as the title, and it's in the quarter, and you're featured with some wonderful musicians, with yourself on piano, of course, and vocals. Jesse Boyd on the bass, and Tom Fisher, clarinet and tenor sax. Boy, I
Yeah.
wish I could have got that job. And then you
I
got,
think you could have too.
I know, special guest Banu Gibson.
You
What
know,
a name.
Anu, although she's really Midwesterner. Hello?
Yeah,
Hello
listen,
there.
I'm hanging on to every word, sister.
Yes, okay. We're on a low battery now, so I've had to transfer.
Okay, these things
Anyway,
happen.
that's cool. Bono Gibson is Miss New Orleans. She started out as a dancer, and she's really got particularly the trad repertoire down, and it was really fun to do some of these songs with a little New Orleans twang, like "Tale of the Oyster." The person who wrote the notes is the one who actually suggested. I said, "Oh, that's a cabaret song, Tale of the Oyster." But instead, we sort of did it in a kind of bluesy New Orleansy way, and she and I did a rare song by the Mississinawa, not the Mississippi. The Mississinawa
Wow.
is in Cole Porter's hometown of Peru, Indiana, and
Oh,
I've
that's
even
right,
seen
Peru.
it. Yeah.
Well, he was obviously like his pal Hoagie
Humphrey Bogart.
Carmichael were both from
Yeah.
Indiana, and
I
they were
know, and they couldn't have been
and they
so
were
different. Two Hoosiers.
they were two Gentiles, you know. But can I just say, point out some other songs, a few of which are classic that we all love. No, Get Out of Town is one of the best songs ever. Let's Do It, of course. Let's Fall in Love. But there's other ones that aren't so known. Ours, Rosalie. You
Yeah.
mentioned Tale of the Oyster. Use Your Imagination. I mean, that's not one that's hughtly known.
No, but you know who recorded it? A couple of jazz people. Jimmy McPartland.
Yeah.
Jimmy McPartland recorded it, and
Who Wants to Be a
I
Millionaire?
just found another guy who did it. Oh, yeah. Well, that's from, of course, you know what that's from.
Yeah, I'm
No.
getting I'm getting the impression you're having builders in today or something. But where have you been? Never heard of it.
I had to put my phone on a charger.
And then you got this great song. I have to play two notes from. I love that song. You'd Be Nice to Come Home To. Isn't that lovely?
Sure. But
I mean,
by the
that
way,
is a super song.
the premise for Cole Porter in the quarter was that apparently he had a hotel in the I forget in the fashion district, you know, a really upscale hotel where he used to stay, and they have a piano that has a little sign just like we do in New York that said Cole Porter used to stay here and come down and play this piano.
Well, I mean,
And that gave me my premise to do it.
that is the
Yeah.
Porter Quarter.
Yep.
The Porter Quarter.
Exactly.
That's all I have to say.
Porter. And
And
also, in a book of unpublished Cole Porter, I found this song called Mississippi Belle that was for the movie of the same name. And the movie, you know, was not very successful, and neither was the song. But it sounds, that song sounded more like like a Hoagie Carmichael song. And I think, Dick Hyman listened to it, and he said, that is Cole Porter laughing and saying, ha, 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 ha. I can write something like Hoagie or Dave
Well,
Frishberg.
What I also like about this album is that it's on a unique and important label called Audiophile Records.
Oh,
And
thank
if
you.
you don't mind, now I believe that was
Please.
the Lunas McLuhan, who, as you know, died many years ago.
Yes,
Did you know Lunas?
very well.
Well, of
Yes.
course you did. He was a proper Southern boy, wasn't he?
Oh, yes. Quite. Quite. Well, but he wasn't specifically involved with audiophile, although he was a major contributor.
Oh, sorry.
The
Okay.
gentleman who did George Buck owned it,
Yeah.
and radio stations that he owned that didn't even play the music that he recorded
Yeah.
financed that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
And they're an amazing archive. And then Wendell Eccles was the
That's-
one who recorded the singers.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got the singers. He had me do Mildred Bailey and Barbara Lee. I know
Yeah.
you know Barbara Lee.
Oh, I miss Barbara. She was a lovely singer.
We
And of course,
do.
We all played with her with Lawrence Band, didn't we? You know.
Yeah.
And I heard her in London at the Pizza in the Park with Dick Sudhalter, and they had a
Oh, I'm
group
glad
called
you got there. Sorry, I didn't.
Hoagie's Children. It was called, and they had some musicians from London. I think they just traveled as a duo musically, you know, for those last years of Barbara's singing career. Because as you remember, she was ill and she wasn't singing for a few years, I think. But
Oh, yes.
and that album she made in 1955, you could do a whole show on that, you know. And yeah, we really miss Barbara Lee, wonderful singer. You were. I mentioned New Orleans because obviously we've had a lot of talk about Duke Ellington in New Orleans, haven't we, Anthony, on the show?
Really? Ah,
Oh, there you go.
Anthony?
Your hand never looked better. But Anthony's looking at his vegan menu for tonight, I think, because I haven't seen much of the whites of his eyes since the show started, but that's okay. Maybe it's better that way. Yeah, so there's
Honestly, it varies, doesn't it? Sometimes it's better that way, and sometimes it isn't. We can't tell necessarily. I was just checking one or two technical things. We're definitely on.
Oh, that's always nice to know.
Yes, but unfortunately, our audience are mainly on trains and things like that, and getting back to life, and apparently not with us right at the moment. But
Yeah, you know what? We can't do anything about
later
that.
on. We'll be pre-recorded, so that's good news. Yes, so I mean, fascinating stuff. Cole Porter and so on.
But getting back to Ellington, just
Yeah.
I happened to the things that I sent you. I happened to look something up just to make sure I knew that it was, who the lyricist was, and it showed all the people who had recorded Everything But You, and mine was probably one of the latest entries to it. But do you know who else? Your very own Brian Priestley
Yes, Brian.
Goodness me.
Our best pals.
and Tony Coe.
Yeah.
And wait,
Yeah.
and weren't they just on? And who else? No,
Louise Gibbs.
Louise. Yes.
Yes. So Tony Coe hasn't been on, but Louise and Brian were on a few weeks ago.
Did
Yes,
you play
absolutely.
their recording of Everything But You?
Oh, I don't think we did we?
No. We did. Louise and I are performing on Sunday, which I'll mention in a minute.
Right.
But
Oh,
one of the songs that she's doing, which is it's one of the more haunting Strayhorn songs, which is called "Strange Feeling," and it was written in 1942, I think. And
that one I don't know.
yeah, that's not a terribly popular one, but anyway, I just mentioned that. The New Orleans connection, of course, with Ellington, which somehow these songs you played you've got on your CD from Mississippi, reminded me of some particular musicians that played with Ellington that were very famously from New Orleans. Obviously, Bonnie Bigard, is a good example.
Ah,
And some other, I don't know, Anthony, you know everything. Can you remind us what singers Ellington used that might have been from New Orleans, please?
Oh,
Maybe not. I'm just
no,
asking.
not offhand. I can't. No.
Okay. Well, there's New Orleans. It's got such a strong vocal tradition, don't they? And those songs are uniquely,
Well, of course
some of
there
the songs recorded
Yeah, I mean, there
are
was
very
one.
New Orleans-y.
There was one, wasn't there? Louis Armstrong recorded Azalea with Duke Ellington, so I suppose that counts, doesn't it?
right. I mean,
Well, no, it's a good example.
not that you could
Yes.
exhaust Ellington, but you could go on forever with Louis Armstrong. But,
Well-
did you were already in Liverpool. The last time I played in London, I did Satchmo the singer
Oh, right.
Oh,
and
right.
his importance to the songbook. And
Oh. Yeah.
there were endless songs.
Yes, it is. So it will not have escaped anybody's notice that Louis Armstrong's 120th birthday is coming up in August. And so
Really, thank you.
we are...
It is 120?
plan-
Wow.
Sorry.
I know.
Yeah,
Gotta-
120. We are
Wonder-
planning on taking a bit of a siesta, aren't we, Frank?
Yeah, sadly.
From the Uptown lockdown. So this is the last of our regular weekly shows for the moment. As the summer approaches, I guess it approaches. But we're considering having one or two specials, aren't we, Frank? During
We're going
during
to
the summer.
pipe up the summer.
Yeah.
Can I just read a...
And we might do one about Louis Armstrong, who knows, around about that time.
Yeah, well, we could do that lovely album he did with Duke, where he did Drop Me Off in Harlem. That's a
Yeah,
wonderful
indeed.
version of
So,
Drop Me Off in
so
Harlem.
anyway, shall we play another track?
Yeah, please do so. Yeah.
Yes, shall we hear Everything But You?
Please, sir.
Let's do that.
You left me a horse from Texas, a house with installments due, a letter with lots of X's, everything but you. You left me some beans from Boston, a bicycle built for two, a memory to get lost in, everything but you. Each day was so gay and so daring. I love every breathtaking minute. But how could I know I was sharing a kiss without a future in it? You left me a dream to room with, a coffee pot from Peru, a knife and a fork to spoon with, everything but you. So gay and so daring, I loved every breathtaking minute. But how could I know I was sharing a kiss without a future in it? You left me a dream to room with, a coffee pot from Peru, a knife and a fork to spoon with. Everything, everything, everything. Ba-doodle-doo-dwee-dop, ba-doodle-doo-dwee-dop, ba-doodle-doo. About you.
Everything but you.
A knife and a fork to spoon with.
Oh, fantastic.
What a lovely song. That
A coffee pot from Peru,
perfect.
Peru, Indiana.
Peru, Indiana.
Amazing.
George,
Yes.
what should we do? What would you like to hear, George?
Yeah, George, come on.
Anything by you would be wonderful. So there.
Good job. We can hear because we're not seeing much of her. Oh, there you are. Okay.
No. No,
It comes and goes, but the voice is there.
it comes and goes. No, it's the power source.
Okay, let me just, Anthony, let me
Yes,
have the ball
Frank.
here while she sorts things out.
It's a bus, but we don't have that much time left anyway.
I'll just
Here's
show
a
it
here's
to
a
you.
here's a little
How about Love
snippet.
You Madly, George? You want
Oh,
to hear
yeah.
Love You Madly?
Good choice.
Beautiful.
Love you madly, right or wrong. Sounds like the lyric of a song. There's so much thing you ought to know. Love you madly. Better fish are in the sea. That's not the theory for me. If you're sure, just like I said before, I love you, love you, love you, love you. If you should be happy, you and me. I think about it so proudly. That makes me sing my love song so badly. Good things could be those who relax and wait for fate. To make you see the day you say love you madly. If you could see the happy you and me, I dream about so proudly under the breath of spring that makes me sing my love song so loudly. Good things come to those who wait to relax and wait for fate to make you see the day you say to me, I love you. I love you. Madly, Joy, I love you. Madly, Anthony, I love you. Madly, and Frank, I love you. Madly.
Love you too, sweetie. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was swinging, kiddo. So, I want to share with you, lovely readers, some my thoughts about Daryl all those years ago. 10 years ago in West 1, Soho. Cafe Society comes to Soho. New Englander and now New York City-based jazz chanteuse and pianist Daryl Sherman brought her own blend of that culture to Soho's Pizza Express on Tuesday. A frequent visitor to our shores since 1999, her trio consisted of Howard Alden,
Yo!
my pal, on
Yay!
guitar, and Brit bassist Dave Green. had
Yay.
previously racked up many seasons at Pete's on the Park, Hyde Park's recently closed venue. As a result, she has migrated to the flagship venue for modern jazz, Pete's Express, Dean Street. The lighting, table layout, room shape, and general ambiance were much more conducive at the Pizza on the Park for the song and storytelling kind of menu that this artiste delivers. Okay, fast forward a paragraph. Hailing from Woonsocket, Rhode Island, Daryl has deep roots in this music. Her father, Sammy Sherman,
Yay.
restaurateur, doubled on trombone and violin. She forged long-time musical associations with other jazzers from that area, such as Dave McKenna, Ruby Braff, Harry Allen, and the sadly missed cornetist, author, and general knower of all things, Richard Sudhalter.
Oh, yes.
Richard was a special guy. George, baby, did you know Richard Sudhalter here in the UK?
I didn't, in actual fact, and I'm really surprised because obviously I knew 99% of the people and never came across them. No.
Well, he was resident in the UK, and I mentioned Richard because he participated in some sort of repertory concerts in the early days of that sort of thing, and it's come up many times here on this show about Brian Priestley and Alan Cohen's recreation of Black, Brown, and Beige in 1973, which was a very pivotal moment.
He didn't come to the States till 75 or 76. Yeah.
But he was involved in Paul Whiteman projects here in the UK. And he was also a resident here working for the UPI and stuff. And I have to say, I play with Richard a number of times here in the UK, as I have you, Daryl. And it's very special for someone like me to have all these great memories of New York and then get to revisit them when the gig we did, Daryl, I don't know if you remember, we might have repressed it out of your memory for permanent.
Are you talking?
It was at
You're
Boysdale.
talking about with Richard Pite?
There's Pitey, yes, Pitey.
Yes, of course.
And they had a toy keyboard there, unfortunately. If you remember.
Yes, I know, but that's why it was really great to have you.
Well, it was a great gig, and
Mr.
Mr. Sourpuss himself, Simon Wolf on bass. Do you remember Simon?
Of course. Was he playing that night?
He was on bass, yeah.
Sourpuss.
Oh, we love Simon though.
Simon, yeah.
He's a very good pianist as well, as you might remember.
Oh, I know.
Wow,
yeah.
yes.
Teacher.
And that was a lovely night, just to be able to spend it with you musically, and you had some good friends. I don't know if you remember, who I think were occasional hosts of you that came along all the way from the depths of North London, didn't they?
That's right. Yes.
Were they some old friends of yours, or?
They were the best friends I could have. That's my home when I come to England. I get to stay with them.
Oh, is that up in Barnet
Yeah,
or something like that?
I stay with them. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, they were lovely people.
Mm-hmm.
And I just for your knowledge, I don't know if you're in touch with Richard Pite, the drummer.
I haven't been in a while.
He's fine. He's all fine. But the thing is, that venue has changed even more now, and I'm not sure what's happening. So.
Well, everything's changed this year, but I wondered if.
Well, I think they kind of went off the jazz sound and went into more like
and I want to mention.
Boogie.
Did you ever know Keith Ingham?
Just by reputation.
Oh,
Huge
no,
fan.
not Keith Ingham. No, he's just a pianist with Susanna McCorkle. But no, the one who just died, who was a good friend. I knew
Keith Nichols.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We paid many loving tributes to Keith on this show. We did.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that was another incredibly strong.
I knew him through Sudhalter. He even, he came over to the States, and I visited on my earlier trips. I went to their house, and he brought me to his local pub that he used to play if he didn't have any other gigs, called The Wonder. And there were photos of people who had grown up in that town. And he explained to me how essential a pub like that is.
Yeah.
And
Had a
he
piano
helped me
probably
sit in.
too.
And
Yeah.
oh, thank goodness I chose right. I sat underneath the arches.
Oh, love.
I dream my dreams away. There wasn't a dry eye in the house. And they sang along. Underneath the arches, I dream my dreams away. Underneath the arches, on cobblestone slide. Every night was my theme. Happy when the daylight comes creeping, heralding the dawn. Sleeping when it's raining, and sleeping when it's fine. Trains rattling all the time. For my pillow, no matter where I stray, underneath the arches, I dream dreams away.
Yeah, baby.
Where did you learn that, Frank? Do you know a friend of mine on one of my trips there brought me to the Ritz. Finally, we dined at the Ritz. There was a lovely band playing,
Yeah.
and I requested underneath the arches, and you could see every single musician huddling around. Like, you know it, you know it.
No. They wouldn't know it.
How
They
dare
wouldn't
not
go there.
know? Playing at the Ritz.
Well, I thought you were going to go into a chorus of. That's the one, babes.
That's more of a Piety song.
That's a London street song. I mean,
Uh-oh.
you know, Knees Up, Mother Brown. Does anyone know that song?
No, I don't.
Oh God! And you call yourself a Londoner?
Oh, and I don't. But I felt so privileged through the years, and in fact, those North London people know Cockney rhyme songs and all of these, you know, lots more of the
Incredible legacy of music in the East
It is
End.
a wonderful legacy,
And Keith.
and they all get up there. The one of them wears a top hat, and they sing along. It's a
Yeah, well,
beautiful.
Keith's a real Londoner. He was a real Londoner. He was from presumably the sound of the Bow Bells, and
Oh, really?
then he moved to Leytonstone, which is where Piety lives, which is further out, but it's not considered proper East London the way, you know, E3 or you know, places like, you know, Bethnal Green, all those kinds of areas.
I see.
Whitechapel. Whitechapel is where Royal Hospital is. Are you guys keeping up over there on the left, pals? And
You're not
and Keith is a special
teaching
person.
us about England.
Did you
Why
know?
is that?
Did you know about the Foyles bookshops? Do you know Foyles?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm sure you
I went
do.
to one of them. Oh,
Yeah.
my friend. Oh God, we haven't even mentioned Digby Fairweather. He's been one of my
He's
dear
doing
friends.
well. He's lovely. Yeah.
And
I
that
sent
center.
Digby a announcement of your appearance, so maybe he's watching. But I just want to mention that
Hi, Digby. Miss you.
he's a huge fan, and Keith and I played at the Foyle's Bookshop, which was the current home of Ray's Jazz. You know, and you
And where
must have.
was that?
Oh, just a few years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and Keith at the time was suffering from some shaky hands, like could have been a sign of Parkinson's. I don't remember what the malady was, but he couldn't keep him still. But strangely, once he started playing piano, he was fine. Isn't that amazing? So
I believe it. I believe it. There's something
and
about
he was a very special guy, and he had to go in to hospital to be treated for a back issue. Okay, and unfortunately, he went in early January, which was a very bad time here for the COVID, the reprisal, the COVID-2. Okay. And sadly, he took ill with the COVID, and we lost him. Sadly, about January 21st, it was very, very tragic, and we
I'm
really
so
miss
sorry
him.
about that. Well, we honor our beloved people, and we continue on. Look
Well,
at our-
absolutely.
Look at your queen. Look at your.
She's 95 now. I mean,
I
come
was
on.
so sad about Prince
That's
Daryl.
even older than George, Sorry, Georgie, babes.
That's true.
I just want to make sure you guys are still listening. Anthony looks like he's watching the football match or something.
No,
But,
that's Quentin.
Oh yeah. So tell us a
Quentin.
little bit. I'm curious because you said, Daryl, when you were at university, you get called for all kinds of odd gigs, piano gigs and singing and all sorts. Were you? Did your parents insist that you have proper piano lessons, and did you have like a quote conventional music education as a youngster?
Well, sort of. Yes, my father was a trombone player,
Yeah.
and he played after the war. He played in some bands in New York. He played in a place where the great jazz piano player and Broadway composer Cy Coleman was pianist on that band.
Incredible. Wow.
And, met my mother. She grew up in the Bronx, and they moved to Rhode Island. I was born a year or so later. And I grew up on lots of recordings, a little bit of Ella and Carmen, but mostly brass players.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
J and K. And
J&K, I remember that band.
he loved high note players like Maynard Ferguson.
Yeah.
But he did make sure that we had at first what I used to call the clunky upright piano.
Yeah.
And he didn't play the piano. He actually started on violin, but he sat me down at the piano and showed me how to make triads.
Yeah.
And at that time of his life, this was just before fake books, but they had what they called tune decks that were done by the publishers. Then he paid for that, and they mailed him packets of songs that just had the melody written with chord changes on top.
Okay.
And then song folios. And when I was about 7, he sent me to a piano teacher that he played with on his gigs.
Yeah, cool.
It was his piano player who was classically trained, church organist, and taught in the public schools,
Yeah.
and knew how to give me a classical regular type background, but also learning how to play chords and accompany myself.
So you had a good
I had a pretty good
background.
Yeah.
Now, was your father also a New Yorker originally?
Originally, yes.
Wow, so you really got New York in your blood then, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. A little
You
bit.
talk like a New Yorker?
Yeah, no, that didn't happen. But never mind New York. I don't even talk like a Rhode Islander. Rhode Island.
I hear more of that in your accent.
Distinctive native Yankee accent.
Yeah, it's the proper English people went to Boston and
Well, no. But in my case, it's very distinctive because my area was heavily French Canadian. They migrated
wow.
to Canada because there were textile mills in my town. And I grew up with kids across the street who couldn't even speak English.
That's
But the
amazing.
They
Wow.
spoke was an abomination of the French language.
Wow. That is amazing. In America,
Oh,
that's
French, right. a very distinctive area where Woonsocket.
George, on a similar note, do you know that there's Scottish communities in New Jersey? You know,
No, I
Scottish
didn't.
communities,
Oh, uh-huh.
and there's Welsh and Scottish and Irish communities dotted throughout the USA. There's obviously a lot of Irish in Boston and New York, as you know. I don't have to tell you
Yeah,
that.
we did in Rhode Island as well. We had a lot of Italian and
Yeah,
Irish, and
yeah.
you know,
And I just find it interesting that they would be parked in a town like Woonsocket and wouldn't speak English, you know. But yeah, George, baby, there's a place called Kearney, which is a Scottish name, as you know. It's Kearney, New Jersey, and it was populated largely by Scottish people.
I tell you what.
Well, as you know, most of the Scottish people went to Canada, didn't they?
Well, I've got quite a few friends in South Carolina who
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
related to Molly Duncan of the Average White Band.
Yeah, who just died, sadly, by the way.
Yes, yes. Well, I went out a year ago and stayed with them for 3 months.
Oh, wow. Really?
Going back, and that was through Molly Duncan. Yes.
Yeah, I loved his playing. He was a lovely player.
Mm-hmm.
But he left those white boys a long time ago, didn't he? Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But yeah, it had a great name, Molly. Molly. Is that short for Malcolm?
Malcolm. Yes, yes.
Molly.
It's somehow got morphed to Molly.
I don't know why. I don't know.
Maybe
why.
he needed to be mollified.
It became Molly. Yes. All right. Okay. So, we seem to have lost our very special guest for the moment. But
I know, but well, why don't you play?
Let's play a piece of
that
music
track.
that she recorded, and I was thinking "C'est comme ça," which is a piece that Ellington wrote.
Good idea,
The music
Anthony.
for.
Good idea.
And let's just have a quick look here. So this was from Pouce Cafe, which never appeared as a show. Joe Cohn is playing guitar here with Daryl Sherman. C'est comme ça.
Oh, I love that guitar sound.
C'est comme ça, c'est comme ça. Please don't ask me to explain. C'est comme ça, and there's nothing I can do. Might as well ask the trees to exist without the rain, or the sky to deny that it's blue. I could hide how I feel so it wouldn't ever show, but I couldn't make the feeling go away. It was all sparkling wine. For the moment he was mine, but such moments fade quickly away. If the wine has lost its fizz, c'est comme ça, that's how it is. C'est comme ça, and there is nothing more to say. I'd reveal how I feel, 'cause I'm helpless to conceal that I'll dance to any tune he cares to play. If the lead lingers on through each aching, breaking dawn, that's the price I expected to pay. C'est comme ça, that's how it is. He's not mine, but I am his. C'est comme ça, and there is nothing more to say. And I'm gonna be seeing him on Saturday.
C'est comme
Well,
ça.
give him my very best, please.
There's my local Chinese restaurant, Chan's, is the emporium for jazz.
Oh, fantastic. C'est comme ça by
Oh, second now. Oh, you played that from we need to talk about that.
Duke Ellington and
That-
Please
Marshall
do,
Burr.
sweetie.
That
Please
is
do.
from Pouce Cafe.
And Joe
That was
Cohn.
the last.
Joe Cohn guitar.
Yes, Joe
Yeah.
Cohen.
Al
Guitar.
Cohn's son.
That's right. Who I just saw this week and I haven't seen him in a while. But anyway, this was the last effort that Ellington made to write music for Broadway. Previous to that, the one I know about was Beggar's Holiday. But this one, he collaborated with Marshall Bearer, who I think he was born in Florida, and I think he ended up living in the West Coast, but he was a lyricist. And he wrote the lyrics for Once Upon a Mattress with Richard Rodgers' daughter. But these songs were kind of like artsy songs. And the let's say the opening day and closing date of this show, Pouce Cafe, was about 2 days. It was not a great hit, but fortunately for people, particularly like Barbara Lee and quite a few others, recorded all of these songs. You know, like Peggy Lee did that whole album of artsy type songs. And again, in that same program that I did with Dick Hyman, there were a lot of these songs. One is called Spider and the Fly. Another one, I love the name of this, Up Your Ante. And they had a kind of, somebody quoted, I'm quoting this a reviewer, whimsically twisted sense of humor. It was based on some kind of Blue Angel film, and Duke wrote a little bit. And they took it and they set it in New Orleans in the 1920s, and Duke wrote a little bit of that along with some kind of European French type style, which was beautiful. And I've seen a lot of singers that I know who have included some of these songs through the years on their albums. But the show itself was never a big hit. And, you know, it wasn't something that Duke Ellington will be particularly known for. But it's a nice look at another side of it. It was 1966. So there.
Thank you.
So it's almost something that one might have thought that Billy Strayhorn would be more likely to engage in.
You're right.
But you know, in terms of putting together a show, and of course there are issues related to that and Beggar's Holiday, indeed, going back. But yes, so no, so there are some lovely songs from that, and I'm just saying, yes, various people have recorded them. And hang on, if I can find you again. There you are. Oh, Frank's disappeared now.
No, he's not. As a matter of fact,
okay.
Frank is going to let you guys. I want to read something that really sums up Daryl musically for me, okay? Because I have a huge...
We know it's serious because he's put his glasses on again.
Yeah. At one point, Daryl rose from the piano and took center stage to deliver a heart-rendering reading of Burton Lane's Too Late Now. Her eye contact with the audience, body language with the band, and general stage presence had risen in exponential proportions. Perhaps having freed herself from the piano helped her up the ante in attaining a poignancy in delivery of a touch of magic. Cheryl, almost done.
You're talking about when that was 2011, and you reviewed it?
Yes.
Right?
That was me, the big American guy in the back.
But
yeah.
Was that either with Scott or Alan Barnes or somebody?
I've already said it was Howard Alden, and Dave Green. Remember? Okay. Sherman also writes well-crafted and characterful trio arrangements which leave plenty of space for solos. She is no mean pianist, both as accompanist and soloist. Her vertical hopping in place motion in time to the beat is a sight to behold, which is in keeping with her scamp-like improvisations, mixing light asides and riff trading with Alden and Green, both of whom are driving soloists in their own right. Dave Green's bass features was Oscar Pettiford's Laverne Walk, was a worthwhile diversion from the Songfest as Green put Alden and himself through their paces. So that's me done.
Worthwhile, goodness.
Wow, what a great set you did. You did everything imaginable. You had Mercer, you had Ellington, you had Burton Lane, a largely forgotten composer.
All right.
Is she still there?
I wasn't invited to this gig, so I don't know.
I remember, but I remember being at Pizza, and I don't know, maybe it was a different year, but it was the year of the royal wedding.
Yeah, that was 10 years ago. That was
of the royal wedding.
Which royal wedding was?
Maybe that was it.
Oh gosh. So where was this
I
gig
remember
from,
hearing you.
Just for the historic record. Sorry, where was this?
Well, I heard her twice, 3-4 times actually. One of which was a place called the Pizza on the Park.
Yes.
And that gig was about 2005.
Right.
That would have been earlier.
The eminent Dan Morgenstern was in the audience. He was
Oh, really?
the eminent Dan Morgenstern.
Yeah.
And I know you and Dan are good friends.
Yes.
And then Tony Coe was playing saxophone with you.
Oh, good. So you do remember he was there. That was such a treat. Thank you.
Yeah, so there were some really magical nights. And then you actually came to one of my gigs, believe it or not. And that was at this place called The Spice of Life.
Yeah.
Which young Anthony will know about. It's next door to Foyles, pretty much. It is. Yeah, it's pretty close to Foyles. And you kindly came to hear my group. We were playing in the afternoon on a Friday lunchtime.
It was fun. I loved it.
And you were probably staying at the luxurious Hilton or something, knowing you. Or no, maybe not.
Well, she said she was staying with her friends up in North London.
Well, and so we have so many great memories of your trips here. And let's hope that you'll resume those in the next year or so.
I feel all mushy inside the one that you mentioned before. It was such a gas to be there when the first royal wedding, not Diana but the kid, and
that's a long time ago.
And I think Scott had the day before me, and then I had my group. And we kept asking each other, well, did you get your call to play the wedding yet? No. No. What? Not one of us got a call to play
Well,
that.
Scott was kind of resident
How dare they?
in London.
I can't remember these royal weddings, honestly, but
But then I went to one of my favorite places of my Nooks and Crannies tour, Cleethorpes and Grimsby.
oh yeah,
Wow, that's north, babes.
yeah.
At the whatever it was a Thursday night. It was the Grimsby Jazz Evening was always on a Thursday,
Right.
and I stayed with the presenter Jill Wilde. I love her.
Oh,
And
she's
that
a
was-
character. Yeah.
That was a trip in and of itself, and her fish pie. But for an American to the next day sit in their living room with a big screen and watch the wedding,
Mm-hmm.
and the comments going on like, "Oh, that's Camilla. She looks like an unmade bed."
I would have loved to have seen her there. Funnily
It
enough,
was such a
I met
I
Jill at the Spice of Life. She used to come make these little junkets to London. And I found her actually the sort of person you could talk to and actually get an email back from, you know. Because so many of the fixers and people involved in festivals just don't want to know, you know.
But that is
The
exactly,
Grimsby is gone, though. That's gone. That festival's gone.
I gather.
And there's many other ones in the north of England that
Was the
even Anthony might know of.
was the colliery band playing? That was what I was.
Yeah. A lot of Cole Porter tunes.
Oh,
You
look,
get that? Cole
brilliant.
Porter tunes.
Excellent
You like
stuff.
that?
Yes.
Thank you.
So hang on a second. I mean, apparently there was a royal wedding. Who follows these things? Prince William and Catherine Middleton, whoever she is. April 29th, which of course is a very famous day. We all know. Absolutely. In 2011. Goodness me, I'd pretty much forgotten about that, but there we go.
I had a gig with a local big band in Reading that night. So unlike yourself, Daryl, and our friend Jill, or is it Jill Wild?
Yeah, Gil, Gillian.
Yeah, Jillian Wild. Yeah. No, she's done a lot. I give her credit to keep that
For me,
festival going.
And it's just magical for me because we went around, and that afternoon after we watched it on television, we went into the town, and they had like a fair,
Perfect.
and people were walking all over, and there were pictures and all kinds of touristy things for the Brits for the commemorating the wedding. And we had fish and chips, and I saw Cleethorpes. It was so thrilling for me.
Well, what a great name, Cleethorpes.
Why I do it. That's why I love to go over there.
George, what is the origins of the name Cleethorpes?
Oh, I
Sounds like a prehistoric animal.
It's English. I'm Scottish. I don't know these things.
Well, it's not far from Scotland. Come on.
Oh,
They have the meridian. They have the meridian is right there.
You love jazz. You love language. You must love words and histories. Do you do the cryptic crossword puzzle?
yes.
I bet he can do it in pen.
Ooh, good crossword puzzle.
Are you a mad New York Times crossword person, Daryl?
No,
Okay.
I'm not a mad New York. I don't do it, and that's why I'm not mad.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Other people do it. Yeah. That's it.
Right. We can just talk all
We
night.
learned so much here, don't we? If Cleethorpes isn't in Scotland, I'm making a note. And yes, fantastic stuff. But no Grimsby Jazz.
Hey, can we
Festival any
play
longer.
a tribute to Joe Temperley now? Because
Sure.
If you'd like.
Yeah.
let me
Otherwise-
just give you
Sounds
some
like an
background.
eminently sensible idea.
Okay, get that CD up. Now, this is really good, close to home for all of us because George had known Joe for just decades and decades and decades. Although Joe was from Fife, but still, you know. Daryl is going to see Joe's widow tomorrow, which is incredible.
I've been in touch with her by text on Messenger, and she's not too sure about you seeing her tomorrow, Daryl. So get in touch with and make sure.
I will. I mean, This is one of the great.
I should have told her. Is this going to be on later tonight?
Yeah, Anthony, explain. Answer her question.
This is on now, and it will be on later tonight. Yes, that's right. Hopefully.
But this is a song called. I'm just going to play a few bars of it. It's
know it.
called Warm Valley. That's a lovely old song.
It is.
Ellington, 1940. And Joe picked it on the album I arranged for him. He chose that song. And I couldn't have been happier before. So it features Joe on baritone, Andy Kleindart on bass, wonderful jazz pianist called John Pierce,
Oh yeah.
the fantastic Steve Brown on
Steve
drums,
Brown. Yes.
and a string quartet, a real string quartet.
Strings. Yes, indeed.
And I somehow snuck in on
Lovely.
the clarinet.
Yes. Oh,
So have a go. Why don't you play it for us, Anthony, young Anthony?
snuck in there. Yes, I'll get the laser ready. Here we go. So yes.
Daryl, go ahead and sing along if you want, sweetie. Beautiful song.
And
Okay, put us back on, Anthony, and I'll introduce this. Okay, yeah.
So
Are we
Warm
on?
Valley, Joe Temperley there, just talking about various things. I was mentioning St Peter's Church and what was it, the midday music,
no, Edmund Anderson, a New York stockbroker and producer, was a big fan and became a very close friend of Ellington. In fact, it inspired him, took him to classical music concerts and got Duke interested in writing orchestral pieces. And to cut to the chase, he was a lyricist. He was a lyricist of Flamingo. And he wrote this lyric to what became Lotus Blossom, written by Billy Strayhorn. And I thought it's a good closer. It's called Thank You for Everything.
Okay.
I'll sing it first, and then we can
Jam on it. Yeah.
thank you for everything. Thanks for the love you bring. Right from the start you touched on my heart and taught me the songs I sing. Thanks for your dazzling grace, lighting the darkest place. Thanks for the joy, the hours of joy that pardon cannot erase. Late at night, when I'm alone, my thoughts go back to you. The many ways you made us smile, the good times that we knew. Grateful I'll always be. Fortune has favored me. Somebody cared, your great heart was shared and gave all the world to see. It never will end, our beautiful friend, so thank you for everything. Grateful I'll always be. Fortune has favored me. Somebody cared, your great heart was and gave all the world to see. It never will end, our beautiful friend. So thank you. Thank you. Thank
Mwah. Thank you, darling.
Thank you,
Oh,
everybody.
super.
Thank you, Frank.
God, what a great lyric, wasn't it?
Oh, Edmund is so happy that we did this.
Did you
Smiling.
did you change the feel in the meter into a kind of a 3/4 type of thing?
Yes, to make it go faster because we didn't have time. It's all math.
Oh, well. And thank you so much.
Although I like it that way. It flows, but
That's just another really good indication of how Billy and Duke's music was so, you could import it anywhere. You could take it from a what they call a singer's ballad, which is really slow, like Lush Life or whatever.
right.
And we're doing Flower is a Lovesome Thing on our concert. If I could just mention that. Sorry to take
yes,
away
Frank,
from you, my
yes.
darling Daryl.
Concert.
We're doing a concert, Louise Gibbs and myself,
Yay.
with a wonderful pianist called Richard Weatherall. And Louise has been based in Leeds for
Yes.
18 years or something. And I'm now based in Liverpool, and Richard's based in Manchester. So that's a perfect little jump over the Pennines. The
I like that.
Yes.
Yes, the northern.
Anthony, the Pennines are a northern mountain range in your
So
country.
it's rather awkward, actually, isn't it? Yes. So there's a northern triangle that you mentioned there. Yes.
Right.
So
It's not like
that'd
Sonny
be great.
Stitch, the internal triangle.
And that
Anyway, it's on
and
Sunday.
that is somewhere just near Leeds.
Okay. Thank
On
you.
Sunday lunchtime, and people can find it. It's the Seven Arts Centre, isn't it?
Okay, let me say what it is. Thank you. It is the Seven Arts Centre. It's on Sunday at 1:30 UK time. And get this, folks. You can go on to Facebook / stroke Jazz Leads, and you can listen to it
Jazz
live.
Leads. Great.
Facebook Jazz Leads. Facebook.com stroke Jazz Leads. LEEDS, not like lead sheet, from which Daryl Sherman is very, very familiar with.
Yes, but I'm familiar with Leeds College of Music as well.
Yes, and what a great Ellingtonian
Thanks to
preserve they have there.
My friend John Brown.
John Robert Brown sends his best, by the way.
He does?
Yeah, John is doing well. He's of a considerable age and has to be careful, because he's, looking after himself. But John would love to hear from you.
He's just a few years older than me, so watch that considerable word.
Well, no, don't you start, sister. He's much... Anyway, who cares?
It says
John's
here-
a good pal of mine, and he's a sax player, and he's a clarinetist, and he knows a lot about all the beautiful musicians we treasure, John.
He does.
And he's a loyal stick. He's a loyal stick.
He is.
He's there for you. And I told him all about your trip, eventual trip here. Not tomorrow. Well, hopefully in the autumn. I would look forward to it. And if you're playing for that silly Graham, little butterball of a man, maybe I'll come and hear you. Oh no, we talk like that in the north. George, we talk like that here in the UK, don't we? Just to be fun.
Looking forward to Daryl arriving in the autumn.
Joe, can you?
I have never heard talk like that anyway.
So anyway,
New Yorkers are so polite, aren't they?
Yeah.
it's the characteristic you most associate with New York City, actually. Yes, that's certainly been my experience. Look, Louise Gibbs, Frank Griffith, and Richard Weatherall is also sold out. Also compared with another gig that they're talking about here, but do tune in for our excellent live stream. They say their excellent live stream from 1:30 p.m, which is tremendously early in New York City, but still.
All of Dale's friends in New York, you'll have to be ready and waiting at 8:30 in the morning. Is that right, Anthony?
Yes, I think so.
That's a bit early for you jazzers, isn't it, Daryl, babes?
Well, not all of us.
It depends what's happening. But
I wouldn't be surprised if you're doing a gig on Saturday. Are you, Daryl?
This Saturday,
Yeah.
I'm going to my hometown in Woonsocket, where Greg Abadi's going to be playing.
Give
for
my
his-
best to good old Greggy Babes, would you?
I will.
So,
Good to hear. Nice.
Woonsocket, that's an amazing name.
I like the way she said it. She put the emphasis on the second.
Woonsocket.
Woonsocket, not Woonsocket, but Woonsocket.
Ah.
Yeah.
That's spoken by a
So
true
apart-
native.
The
Apart
accent-
from at Woonsocket on Sunday, our audience, where can they find out more about you, Dal?
Yes, Daryl.
there's I guess it's www.darylsherman.com, and it's one of each, DARYLSHERMAN, no double letters.
Okay,
I'm
no
a-
double letters, right?
Or Daryl Sherman Facebook,
Okay, on Facebook, right?
or you can call me.
Fantastic.
I've left for those of you.
and I like to get emails. Daryl Sherman at AOL.com.
Fantastic.
I also shared all of Daryl's contact information for those of you that are involved in the Duke Ellington Society UK. Okay, we have a mailing list and we have our Facebook page, so they'll be able to access your website and Facebook and everything from that. Because
I'll
as I
put a
said,
link under this
Daryl
video
will be back with us
on
in
YouTube.
the old country. She'll be back in the old country.
So Daryl, thank you so much. Really, thank you so much for being here.
It's almost like being there now. Thank you.
All the way,
Almost like being in love.
all the way from New York, and we heard there
Are you going to go out for a curry after this?
with that.
Normally we
I
would,
might stay in
but
for a curry, possibly. Frank Griffith in Liverpool, thank you so much also for being here, and thank you,
In
George,
Swansea.
up in
My friend.
for the moment, still in the United Kingdom.
I am desperate to speak to Daryl just for a second and
Thank
apologise.
you.
My abiding regrets over the years is not asking you out after the concerts. I would have loved for us to go out after the concerts. So when you come over again, we are
Yes.
out for dinner and a cuddle.
You're on a promise there.
Yeah. Yes,
fantastic.
I'll try to book something early so we can start eating more early.
Go for a curry. Yes, indeed. Oh, and so yes, so we will be back. You know, at the end of the films where it says so and so, the lead character will be back, but we're not quite sure when, are we?
oh, we'll be back before you can in 2 shakes of a lamb's.
That's right. But if you want to find out, then do subscribe to the YouTube channel and also check out our website, which will be on the screen at the end of this, hopefully. DukeEllington.org.uk. Thank you. Yes. So anyway, thanks to you all
We'll see you again.
for being with us for
Thank you
these
for
last
inviting.
50 odd weeks.
We'll see you. We'll
with-
see you in the
I'll see you in my
UK.
dreams.
Frank and I are looking forward to having a bit of the summer off, aren't we, Frank?
Oh, and how?
and hopefully we'll come back
Keep
refreshed
Keep
and
well.
everything.
But the news is that we have gigs to prepare for now, so that's really
Oh
exciting.
gosh, so wow, yes. So
You know,
anyway,
Actually getting green
Anthony,
sheets.
nice meeting you.
it's fantastic to meet you. Yes,
I hope
absolutely.
we meet up.
Lovely.
We'll see you in.
And when
We'll
you
see
come
you.
over here, well, perhaps Frank's going to organise a DESUK trip to New York, aren't you, Frank? At some point.
Oh, I can't
so
wait.
that will be fantastic. We'll all just pile.
We'll all
on.
stay at Daryl's apartment on 49th Street.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We've already seen. You've seen
Shall
the
we-
whole
Shall we wish au revoir to everybody
good neighborhood.
with a piece of music? I was thinking a nice upbeat piece. How about Tulip Alternate, which I have here?
Good. I like it already.
That weird piece.
Oh, I forgot that one.
So this one,
Thank you.
So,
These things happen,
so
Daryl.
were you usurped at the piano chair here by Dave
Oh.
McKenna?
Dave McKenna, the best. He's my favorite.
What a tremendous character as well.
You know him?
I just heard a lot of stories about his prodigious, he liked life. He liked life, Yeah.
So, as I say, thank you so much for being with us. Our audience, and especially our very special guest this week, Daryl. All the best to everybody, and you will hopefully see us again.
I hope. Bye-bye.
Tulip or turnip, rosebud or rhubarb, fillet or plain beef stew. Tell me, dream face, what am I to you? Diamond or doorknob, sapphire or sawdust, champagne or just homebrew. Tell me, dream face, what am I to you? Do I get the booby prize, or will I be the hero? Am I headed for blue skies? Is my ceiling zero? Tulip or turnip, moonbeam or mud pie, bankroll or IOU. Tell me, dream face, what am I to you? Tulip or turnip, moonbeam or mud pie, bankroll or IOU. Tell me, dream face, what am I to you? Tell me, dream face, what am I to you?